when you start building your luxury mom pet brand. So I wanted to tackle that, guys. And this is a common question that I get a lot from moms over 40. How do you know if you went too far with your product? How far should you go into your research, side hustling, service delivery life cycle, especially if you're doing this as a side hustle, if you're trying to build your own luxury pet brand as a mom over 40, you're doing this as a side hustle. How far enough is enough? That's the typical question I get. And remember, guys, we live in a world of infinite thought. So it's quite easy to get distracted and kind of fall into the trap of infinitely inventing new ideas, new systems, new pathways, new products, new bundles. But at the end of the day, what you need to do, you need to kind of approach this in a very unique way. The way of where you discover certain thing that you need to do, you need to compare whatever it is that you discovered to other combination of things that you haven't discovered. And if you do this rapidly, you're going to be able to get that view, that 360 degrees perspective that otherwise is almost impossible to comprehend. If you don't do that, you are facing the risk of unknown, and what you don't know, you don't know. And of course, that can become quite dangerous. So what I always tell moms over 40, do so within limit. And how? When you start off building your talent agency or your luxury pet brand, or a combination of both, always start off with basic problem solving goal. So if you found a product that solves a particular problem, always kind of understand, okay, what is the problem? How can I hit those criteria for a viral product? If it doesn't hit the criteria, you don't invest time into that product. Initially, when you first start analyzing the product itself to see if it's worth it, you're gonna discover that you will find a fire-looking product and you will feel like everything is good and great with that product. But the truth is, guys, what typically happens is in the middle of your research activities, you discover some other product. That's basically what happens. And as a result, you kind of pivot to see, you jump in and to see that shiny object. And you never pursue the original product that you thought that was going to be successful, that is going to be viral. You never pursued that all the way because you discovered something else. And when you discovered that something else, you started building kind of new ideas. So how much is enough? How far is far? That's the common question I get from moms over 40. And the truth is, guys, initially, for any kind of skill, you need to learn the limits of that set. So what I mean by that, let's say you learning a new micro skill of doing product research. As a business owner, as the feudal lord, you need to understand how to stay within that limit of product research without going outside of that limit. And to do that, the only way you're going to recognize that is once you understand all of the processes that are involved in your research cycle, in your pre-launch product cycle, launch and post-launch product cycle. Once you understand that, you're going to be able to kind of have that point of reference that otherwise you would not be able to even understand or see unless you did it a couple of times. So at the end of the day, guys, when it comes to product research skill, you definitely want to have that common denominator, that anchor, that reference point that will allow you to see how good is the product. Is it truly good, or am I going to lose my shirt if I'm going to get that product? So that's kind of like the main constraint here. The second part is that you want to be looking at is not only that product but competitor's product, and understand that competitor, do this competitive analysis to see if you can develop that point of reference stronger by analyzing the market gaps and seeing what other people have to offer and what you could possibly do to differentiate your product. Once you have those kind of surrounding elements and the common denominator, the point of reference, you're going to be able to make decisions quicker. But that's not gonna happen until you understand the actual process. And the process is going to be you researching using this tech stack that I told you guys in a few previous workshops that has to do with Opal, Firebase, NobleCalm, and my thread stack as well for marketing. When you use this in combination with Freedom Fusion System CRM, you're able to supercharge your actions in an automated way, in a systemized way that makes it easily possible for you to use things like orchestrator agents, use AI agents that are able to help your virtual assistants execute certain things and focus on greater things that otherwise wouldn't be possible to do earlier. Now, the only way you could achieve that is by iterating through multiple products and taking them through the initial testing phase a lot quicker. Because essentially what you're going to do, you're going to have a bunch of ideas and you want to operationalize those ideas a lot faster. To make those ideas faster, you need to understand what is a good idea and what is a bad idea. And in order to do that, you need to use data. What kind of data? The data of successful TikTok shop dropshippers who are already spawning money. And what you could do with the tech stack that I described earlier in the previous workshops, if you guys checked them out yet, what you could do, you could supercharge your little AI agents to have this information in their brain. So this way you could pull each individual AI agent at a given time when it comes to researching a particular product. Now, of course, you could do things manually, and it will seem like you could possibly do this manually in initial phases, but overall, as the time goes on, it will start drifting. You're gonna start seeing drifts in your logic, and your criteria begin changing, and technically, you just end up making decisions that are not smart over a longer time period. So, how do you combat that? How do you make that happen, guys? Well, the best way to solve that problem, the drifting problem, is to use several frameworks. There's frameworks available that minimize the whole concept of drifting. And of course, what you want to be doing, you want to be analyzing the research-based factors and encompassing those factors directly inside of those agents. So this way you could invoke any of those agents in the process into your overall product launch cycle. So I know I'm speaking a bit kind of in generic terms and whatnot, and how do you spin up all of those agents, and how do you do this in a way that you could research products faster and don't go outside of the limit? How do you do this? All of this is covered in my community, guys. This is where you get to see the breakdown of how to create orchestration agents, how to accelerate your product pre-launch, launch, and post-launch sequencing, and how to get other people to squabble up together with you and build your luxury pet brand. So there's many high cardinality, heterogeneous complexities that are involved. But overall, guys, this is fairly decent thing. This is not complicated. It just takes a little bit of time for you to break through the noise and figure out the limits of the underlying set, and to truly discover those limits. All you gotta do is you gotta pick a product, iterate through that, find differentiation factors, and launch it. Launch it in 15 minutes as a pre-test, see if it works, and double down and jump in further into actually ordering the product in the physical realm and making it pop. Now, if somebody, let's say you do this proof of concept, you create a Google site, you run some ads, and somebody goes ahead and purchases your product. Now, of course, it's going to be real difficult for somebody to purchase your product because it just came out live only like a few minutes ago. In 15 minutes, people have this trust factor problem where they're just not going to trust your content. Now, how do you solve that problem? Well, you gotta use ThreadStack, digital power bundle that allows moms over 40 to create trust over a longer term period and be able to go in 15 minutes using my innovative tech stack and ThreadStack to get from idea to production just in 15 minutes. Guys, the biggest mistake that I see moms over 40 do is they're just not understanding the technologies or how you could use those technologies in parallel as you're building your business. Now, keep something in mind, you don't want to be focusing too much on technology where you don't focus on the business. You just want to be aware that those things exist, and when you do develop kind of a process for identifying the viral products, then you want to be operationalizing this process and taking it to the next level. the high level. What's my company based on? Freedom Fusion System CRM is based on Go High Level. It's basically a customer relationship management system that is built on top of a platform trusted by thousands of successful businesses. So if you guys really want to dive a little deeper and see if you can start controlling those limits, definitely check out my community. All you got to do is DM the word PATH, P-A-T-H, on my Insta. I promise you it's going to sink in a lot better. Not doing so will make it really difficult for you to understand how to control the limits, how to discover new products, how to identify suppliers, how to minimize costs, and of course in a longer term period it's just going to start affecting your overall margins. So in order for you to increase ROAS and follow this GMV metric of TikTok Shop, you truly need to understand the formula and all of those high cardinality, heterogeneous complexities that are involved in terms of getting that product launched and making sure that you get that validation window for when it's launched, and accelerating that window and shifting it in a right way with the right kind of a posture, and while validating that data, while ensuring that whatever it is that you're doing resonates with your audience and your audience's audiences. To make progress in this, guys, what you need to do, you really need to understand how this tech stack and threads stack works. I make it super easy for you to understand how to build your own digital product bundle, how to monetize your pets, cats, kids, and dogs, how to do this in your own schedule. That's the beautiful part about it, guys. So if you guys want to learn more, if you want to understand how to pull this off, how to construct your very own Freedom Fusion path, to discover the freedom that you've been seeking for all along, to discover how no longer be the process prisoner and become the freedom founder, then take a look at my company. It's called Freedom Fusion System, and our talent agency helps moms over 40 discover freedom faster by utilizing technology in combination with business, helping moms over 40 accelerate their discovery of products, helping moms over 40 make right decisions faster. And if you're struggling and can't find the right path, definitely, guys, jump into our workshops. DM the word workshop on my Insta to join our feudal kingdom building workshops, where you get to learn how to either keep it or flip it, your feudal kingdom, your brand, whether it's luxury brand or any other brand. Anyway, guys, that's it for now, and I'll see you next time.